By now you may be wondering how to create a layer. And the honest answer is, it depends. What it depends on is the kind of content you want to create. For example, if you wanted to create text, you don't have to do anything to make a layer. When you use the Type tool, it automatically creates a special layer for you, right above whichever layer was selected. We'll cover text later in the course, but just to show you what I mean about creating a layer for you, I'll create a little text in this image. I'll select the Type tool, move into the image, click, and I'll type something. And I'll commit that by clicking the check mark in the options bar. Now take a look at the Layers panel, and here's the Type layer that Photoshop created for me. It even named the layer for me, taking the layer name from what I typed. And it added this big T icon to let us know that this is a Type layer, which has some properties that are different than regular pixel layers or image layers. Other times when Photoshop does the work of creating layers for you are when you want a special adjustment layer for adjusting color or tone, or when you place a new image into an open document, or when you create a shape. We'll look at all those situations in detail later in the course, but the point is for now that there are many times when you don't have to do anything special to make a layer. There are some things for which you do have to create a layer manually, so let me show you how to do that. Let's say you want a layer for items made up of pixels, which are tiny squares of color that make up digital images. That might be a layer on which you plan to paint using the brush tool, or it might be a layer you're going to fill with color. To create a layer for pixels like that, go to the bottom of the Layers panel and click the Add Layer button. A new blank layer with a generic name appears above whichever layer was selected at the moment. I'll give the layer a name. We'll call this one Painting. I'll go get the brush tool in the toolbar. I happen to have green in my foreground color box and a relatively large brush. I'm not going to bother changing any of that now. And I'll just paint a stroke in the image. And you can see here on the painting layer, there is a green stroke in the thumbnail. On this new layer, we could perform any of the layer operations that I showed you in other movies in this chapter. For example, if I want that paint stroke to be behind the butterflies text that I added in the Layers panel, I'll drag the painting layer below the butterflies layer. I could also duplicate this layer to get yet another new layer. To do that, I'll right-click or control-click on the painting layer, and I'll choose Duplicate Layer. And I'll click OK. And now I have a painting copy layer and a painting layer in the Layers panel. You can't see the copy right now because it's right on top of the original painting layer, but if I were to get the Move tool and drag, you can see that there's another painting layer right there. Now let's talk for just a second about deleting layers. If I decide that I don't need either or both of these painting layers, I could delete them by selecting them. So with this painting copy layer already selected, I'm going to hold down the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on Windows and click on the painting layer too, and that selects them both. And now to delete them both, I can just drag down to the trash can at the bottom of the Layers panel. And those layers disappear from the Layers panel and their content is gone from the image. So that's a quick look at how to create and delete layers in Photoshop.